Ladies and gentlemen, just 2 weeks ahead of the first phase of polling, Rahul Gandhi was in true form of an opposition leader today. In a bid to take Prime Minister Narendra Modi head-on in this election season, he announced a minimum guarantee scheme for the poorest of the poor in India. But hours after he made heavy-duty promises, the BJP rebutted his claim and said that it was not in the Congress culture to eradicate poverty. Listen in to this fierce face-off.
इतना पैसा हिंदुस्तान में भाइयों और बहनों है तो कांग्रेस पार्टी गारंटी करती है कि हिंदुस्तान के 20% सबसे गरीब परिवारों को हर साल 72,000 रुपए देने जा रही है।
उनका इतिहास गरीबी को हटाने का नहीं रहा। गरीबी को हटाने के लिए कोई साधन दिए जाएं, वो भी उनका इतिहास नहीं रहा। योजनाओं के नाम पर छल कपट रहा है।
On the case tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we pose a few counters to Rahul Gandhi's ambitious Garibi Hatao proposal if he comes to power. Let's look at his basic promise. Congress President Rahul Gandhi has offered a minimum income guarantee of rupees 72,000 per year for a family of 5. What he hasn't specified is the source of these funds for implementing such a scheme. While it brings a figure of rupees 6,000 per month for a poor family, he hasn't mentioned the fact that the total cost of the scheme is 2 percentage points of India's GDP. While Rahul Gandhi intends to target families that earn less than rupees 12,000 a month, he wasn't clear on whether this scheme will subsume other social welfare schemes that are already offered to poor people. Congress President's intention is to target 25 crore Indians, but he has been mysteriously silent on criteria behind arriving at the figure of 5 crore families. So, ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question on the news are tonight. Will the cash sop change the Congress's poll fortunes? That's the question and that's the debate that's coming up on the other side. The hashtag, ladies, Congress Basic Income Wow. That's the hashtag. Please do send me your questions and your comments in the debate.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, Sanjeev Sanyal, who is the economic advisor to the Ministry of Finance. Also joining me tonight are Dushyant Nagar, who's the political analyst, Sanjeev Srivastava, senior journalist, Gaurav Bhatia, spokesperson of the BJP, joining me in our studios tonight, Garga Chatterjee, political analyst, and Sudarshan, who is from the India Foundation. But first, Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, let's come to you because I want to understand the numbers in all of this. The calculation, back of the envelope calculation shows that Rahul Gandhi.
Hello, I can't quite hear you. Can you
hear me now?
Question,
can you hear me now? All right, I just want to understand the numbers of this scheme that has been put out by Rahul Gandhi. The back of the envelope calculation puts these numbers at around 3.6 lakh crores. Well, we'll try and go across to him. We seem to have lost his line. Terrible. But just when we want to get to the meat of the issue, technology. Technology always lets us down. But Gaurav Bhatia, I want to ask you this. You didn't come up with an income scheme of this kind. You came up with 6,000 rupees for poor farmers annually. That works out to 2,000 every quarter, 17 rupees per day. अब राहुल गांधी ने 72,000 दिए तो आपको दर्द क्यों हो रहा है?
पहले तो technology doesn't let you down. It is Rahul Gandhi and the Gandhi परिवार that lets down the entire country and the poor of the country. मैं आपको बताता हूँ क्यों.
5 साल सत्ता आपके हाथ में.
मेरे से प्रश्न है गौरव भाटिया, मैं हूँ नाविका. This I don't want. Believe me, I have also prepared myself, and I think the viewers would like a meaningful conversation. आप पहले दुष्यंत नागर से बात कर लीजिए, मुझे कोई दिक्कत नहीं, लेकिन बीच में तू तड़ाक चिकन चिल्ली.
Before we get caught in the political debate,
I do not want this kind of a discussion.
All right, gentlemen, ceasefire. Okay, ceasefire. Let's go across to Sanjeev Sanyal, who is back with us.
Technology is reliable. Rahul Gandhi is not.
पता नहीं मोदी जी कितने रिलायबल हैं.
क्यों?
अभी छक्के मारेंगे, चिंता ना करिए, बॉल की तरह आप
कुछ नहीं उड़ने वाला, आप उड़ने वाले हो 23 मई.
Either way, you decide what the answer, but I don't want this.
अच्छा, पहले वो बोल लें, फिर मैं आपके पास आती हूँ.
See, for a person like Rahul Gandhi who said that poverty is a state of mind, so this scheme has been brought to ensure that the state of mind of people is fine, or is he retracting from his earlier statement? And itself, this scheme itself is an admission of the failures of the Congress, because in 1971, Indira Gandhi had said Garibi Hatao. So that means Congress has failed in ensuring that the poor are empowered and they are part of the mainstream. Now, let me come to the basic point. The problem with what Rahul Gandhi has announced today, first is he admitted in his statement, where are the funds? He said, we know the funds are there. So 5 years, it has been Modi government. There are enough funds for the scheme. That's an admission of sort. Second, the fiscal deficit during the Congress government was 5.9%. Due to good fiscal policies of the finance minister Arun Jaitley ji, it has been brought down to 3.5%. I asked Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Dushyant Nagar ji only 3 questions. First is, if you have promised that 72,000 rupees per annum, that is an additional, budgetary allocation of 3,60,000 crore, which comes to around 10 to 11% of the entire budget. Where would you get it from? Second, he said 12,000 rupee per month is assured. What about people who have an income of 1,000 and 2,000? Why would you not give them 10,000 and 9,000 rupees?
Right.
That would be additional. One more point. And he said 20% of the poorest. Do you have that kind of data or study? Because 55 years when you were in power,
डेटा और स्टडी तो आप होने ही नहीं देते ना इस देश में. आपने तो कोई जॉब का डेटा, कोई पोल का डेटा आपने तो दिया ही नहीं देश को. डेटा नहीं दिया सर आपने.
नाविका जी, डेटा के लिए कोई मशीनरी 55
आप होने ही नहीं देंगे. All right. I will.
My point is 20% of the poorest. How would you bring out the data to see who are
all right, Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, I know we lost you in the middle. I'm just taking a rebut on the political point and then coming straight across to you, because it will be unfair if I allow the ruling party to make a point and do not allow a counter. So I'll just come to you. Yes, Dushyant Nagar.
देखिए, इन्होंने पहला प्रश्न उठाया कि वो धनराशि कहां से आएगी. 16 लाख करोड़ के आसपास पेट्रोलियम पदार्थों से टैक्स वसूला जा रहा है. वो कहां जा रहा है?
क्या बोल रहे हैं?
3 लाख. अच्छा, क्या बोल रहा हूं मैं? आप
टोटल बजट कितना है इंडिया का? आप बताइए मुझे, मैं पूछ रहा हूं आपसे.
नहीं, मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूं वो कहां जा रहा है?
रिकरिंग एक्सपेंस होगा.
आप कहां जा रहा है?
कितना है बजट? बोलिए.
कहां नहीं, आप बताइए. 16 लाख करोड़ रुपए कहां जा रहा है?
आप अपनी बात रखिए. आई विल नॉट इंटरप्ट.
सवाल करने
चलिए, आई विल नॉट इंटरप्ट यू. आई हैव माय नंबर्स. अगर आप अनप्रिपेयर्ड हैं, ये आपकी चॉइस है.
अच्छा,
चलिए, मैं चिल्लाऊंगा.
आप बोलिए.
दूसरा है कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स 25% से 5% कर दिया इन्होंने. 3.2 लाख करोड़ रुपीस उद्योगपतियों का माफ किया. इन्होंने पैसा पहुंचाया उद्योगपतियों के जेब में.
Is that the topic that we are discussing?
मैं जवाब दे रहा हूं मैडम.
Is what I have asked.
नहीं, आप प्लीज इन्हें रोकिए. कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष पैसा पहुंचाएंगे गरीब आदमी की जेब में, आम आदमी की जेब में.
इसी से जो उद्योगपतियों की जेब में हाथ डाल.
उद्योगपतियों की जेब में नहीं, उद्योगपतियों को फायदा ना पहुंचाए. जो टैक्स इन्होंने घटाया,
गरीबी हटाओ. गरीबी एक मानसिकता है, मनोदशा है. ये राहुल गांधी
रिव्यू करके भैया आप बोलने नहीं देंगे. कोई बात नहीं,
उत्तर जवाब देगी.
All right, I'm going to Sanjeev Sanyal. I'm going across to Sanjeev Sanyal. Mr. Sanjeev,
आपने सिर्फ और सिर्फ उद्योगपतियों को फायदा पहुंचाया. ये है आपका चाल चरित्र और चेहरा।
सही है।
और वो पार्टी देश की सबसे पुरानी पार्टी, देश की सबसे महान पार्टी,
राहुल गांधी
उनके
बेल
नेता
पे,
कह रहे
सोनिया
हैं,
गांधी
मैं
बेल पे,
पहुंचाऊंगा
रॉबर्ट
पैसा
गांधी वाड्रा
गरीब
बेल
आदमी
पे।
की जेब में।
देश को दीमक की तरह खाया
All
खानदानी
right,
चोरों ने और
all
आपने
right.
बता
संजीव
आपके
सन्याल,
और मेरे चोर हैं।
संजीव
कौन सा
सन्याल,
आपका साहब
I
है?
hope,
आप बताइए ना।
I
आपके
hope,
वित्त मंत्री
I
हैं।
hope
लेखक हैं,
technology,
लेखक हैं,
okay,
वकील,
अच्छा,
कोई decide
अच्छा,
करता है।
अच्छा
आप
सर,
कोई economist नहीं मिला।
दुष्यंत नागर जी,
डॉक्टर सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी
दुष्यंत
को
नागर
बात
जी,
कीजिए।
दुष्यंत नागर जी, पॉलिटिक्स के लिए हमारे पास 2 महीने हैं, लेकिन एक इकोनॉमिस्ट की
बिल्कुल,
थोड़ी
उनकी
सी
तो
बात
बात
सुन
सुनिए।
ले, उसके ऊपर फिर हम बहस करेंगे।
चलिए
Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, I want to ask you, today the finance minister has given us 5 numbers. He says that total payment under DBT from 55 ministries to bank accounts to poor people is 1.8 lakh crore. Food subsidies another 1.84 lakh crores. Fertilizer subsidy 75,000 crore. PM Kisan payment for income support is 75,000 crore, and Ayushman Bharat subsidy to 50 crore people is 20,000 crore. So your government is already giving 5.34 lakh crore. Is that something that you can contest Rahul Gandhi with?
Yes, I think that those numbers are correct. So let me just point out that let's take the numbers. Never mind the politics of it, just look at the numbers. While we do not have the fine details of how this new proposed scheme would work, the rough estimate that I've made is about that it would cost about 3.6 lakh crores if it was implemented. Now, the question is then, where will this 3.6 lakh crores come from? One of them is that you simply allow the fiscal deficit to expand. That would immediately take the fiscal deficit well past the 5% mark, and that movie has already played itself. Less than 10 years back, we went through an episode with fiscal deficits of that size, and we saw inflation going into double digits. We saw the current account blow up, the rupee spiral down. So clearly that is not the intention, and I'm sure there are responsible people who have looked at this proposal and would have clearly advised against it. So then, where does this 3.6 lakh crore come from? It is almost certainly going to have to be taken off the existing schemes that are there, and I would argue that those who have proposed such a scheme should be honest about it and tell us which of these schemes they are going to unwind. As you have just read out some of the numbers that the finance minister had stated earlier, well more than about 5.5 lakh crores worth of support is already provided in various schemes, and you listed out a whole bunch of them. And the fact of the matter is, if these, some of these schemes were going to be shut down, we know to know which of the schemes that will be shut down for this purpose. Now, it is possible
Mr.
that
Sanyal,
this particular scheme is a
Mr.
better way of
Sanyal,
providing
I know
support.
you
but
wanted
then
this to be a one-on-one,
clearly we
but
need
there
to
is a
be
fellow
told how this was
journalist.
going to be done.
There is a fellow journalist, and I hope you will just permit me to get Mr. Sanjeev Srivastav into this, because he has a few questions as a journalist. Mr. Sanjeev Srivastav.
No, Sanjeev, very good evening. I just wanted to ask you a couple of things. This 3.6 lakh crores figure has obviously come from multiplying 5 crore by 72,000. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or is there some other reason for it? Okay. So, how much of the money?
No, broadly speaking,
that's the number. Okay. So, how much money has been spent in bank recapitalization in the last 1 year? I think about half of that money. It's about 2 lakh crores or little less. I am not sure. So, bank recapitalization or the every week virtually, or if not every week, every fortnight, one hears of somebody running away with few thousand crores of Indian money. So, you have traveled the world. You was in Singapore. I used to listen to you and making your comments. After all, in a country like ours, don't you think there is a solid case for looking after the poor? How do you find the money is the job of the economists and people. But is there not a case?
Okay, I've heard your question. Let me answer it, and I hope you will listen to the answer.
Sure.
The recapitalization of the banks is a one-time amount infusion of resources that had to be done, incidentally, because of the large amount of irresponsible lending that happened between 2006 and 2013. You are very well aware of this, and many of those irresponsible lending went bad in subsequent
Mr.
years, as
Sanyal,
a result
today
of
only
which
you
we
bailed
were
out
forced
Jet
to
Airways.
recapitalize the banks.
Today only
this is
Jet
completely
Airways
no.
has
You,
been
I
bailed
listened
out.
to your
Sorry.
question.
Yeah.
I listened to a question. You will allow me to answer it,
Okay,
please.
okay.
So this recapitalization of the banks had to be done because of that period of irresponsible lending. Now, those who were the beneficiaries of that irresponsible lending have been subsequently taken through the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, which was instituted in 2016 and operationalized in 2017, as a result of which very large number of these promoters who had misused these resources have been brought to book. Their companies have been sold off, been auctioned off, and many of them are in fact currently having to sell off many of their family jewels.
Mr. Sanyal, what is the money recovered through NCLT code?
3 lakh
Just
crores
one figure
of money has been...
What is the figure which has been recovered
yes, they have
through
been
this
taken
great
through the
NCLT
court.
What
For
is the
about
amount which has been recovered?
About 3 lakh crores worth of money has come back from various sources. One is auctioning. There has been repayment of loans that had gone bad and had been have now come back. There has been a lot of regularizing of irregular accounts. So large amounts of resources have come back. But the point is, it is extremely disingenuous of you to make this recapitalization of banks, which was clearly not
Mr. Sanyal.
Okay,
comparable.
so let me come in here. Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, I want to ask you.
Just because you said that it is extremely ingenuous on my part. My only point, the limited point I was trying to make, Mr. Sanyal, just, okay, I was very disingenuous. You are an economist. You come out with a stroke of genius. So please tell me, don't you think there is a case for the extremely poor people to be subsidized with direct cash to this amount? It's hardly any amount. 72,000 rupees a year, people can barely be able to feed themselves.
And so this is 12,000 rupees per family of 5.
Yes.
No, 12,000 rupees is the ceiling.
Okay,
that if a family is earning more than
Now
12,000, you won't get that money.
No.
So, is there not a case that while we do so many things...
No, ironically, the more money is being given...
Yeah. That's
more money is being given. That is the precise point that the finance minister made.
All
that
there
is already more money being provided under current schemes. The question therefore is, if this new scheme is about to replace these, those who have proposed these schemes should tell us clearly which of the existing schemes and support programs will be replaced. If they are not proposing to replace these
I do
schemes
appreciate that you are not a politician.
Suggesting this as additional.
So I really don't want to
Mr.
make up
Sanjeev
below the
Sanyal,
point.
I know the money is a problem.
Where was the clarification given? How will 2 crore jobs be
I'm
realized
sorry,
every year?
This
Where was the
argument is being
See,
done very
opposition
clearly
leaders
without
say
any
things in
economic
opposition. Where was the
rationale being
clarification
presented
given
at
that
all?
this, you know, all the announcements were made.
I want to ask just one question
15
before
lakh in every account.
Fair point, which I'll get Gaurav Bhatia. I will get
There is
Gaurav
no
Bhatia to
comparison
answer
between
that, but I want to
72,000
ask
and
just
15
one
lakhs.
last question to Mr. Sanjeev
I'm
Sanyal
sorry,
before.
you're making political points which I'm not interested in
Yeah,
engaging with.
I know, that's
You
why I
give me
said
the
Gaurav
numbers, we'll
Bhatia
have a
will
debate.
respond to
This
the
is a
political
pathetic,
points. I want to ask you,
approach.
I want to ask you, Sanjeev Sanyal, just one question before I let you go. The question is simply this. When Rahul Gandhi says he's going to give a basic income guarantee, do you think that there will be data to actually establish कि ये 12,000 से कम कमाने वाली families हैं कौन सी? Do we have data of that kind?
Data पे
No,
तो
so
नए
this
सिरे से
is
जाना
a
पड़ेगा.
difficult thing to do, as is very well known. One of the as has been very well known, one of the reasons that even when we did this program on providing farmer support, we had to take something other than income as the gauge, because it's extremely difficult to gauge the income at that income level. So we used size of holdings as one way of doing it. There are other ways of doing it. For example, when there is gas cylinders are being subsidized, somebody has to actually purchase the gas cylinder to get the service. Similarly, the subsidy. Similarly, when you get support for the Ayushman Bharat, you actually have to be fall ill in order to take advantage of it. The why this is important is because these schemes then allow for a self-control, in that they self-select those who are genuinely needy to be given the support. Now, supposing you did this scheme purely based on income, where the observability of this income is not easy. Remember that there will be a lot of misrepresentation of the income when income is the sole way of identification.
Good point. Good
so
point.
this will become very quickly a complex scheme and which
And leakages.
in which there will be a huge amount of leakages.
Well, Sanjeev Sanyal, we got your point.
Even by the way, the previous government,
The entire BPL thing has been now thrown out of the window.
Well,
if you
we
don't
get your
work
point,
out
Sanjeev
what the
Sanyal.
incomes
Thank
are,
you for joining me, and I'm going back to my political debate. And Garga Chatterjee, this is the question I want to ask you. There is no data on how you will identify these poor people who are supposed to get this income support, because there is no such study, no such data that's available. As Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal pointed out, there is data on people who go to buy a gas cylinder, whether they should be given a subsidy or not. There is an actual purchase that is happening, and against that you get a subsidy. In food subsidy, in your ration PDS subsidies, also there is such figures available. In fertilizer purchases, it's available. In Ayushman Bharat, it's available. But in the income scheme, where will you bring this identification from? So are you going to create a leakage prone scheme for 3.6 lakh crores to just go down the tube?
So every public scheme has shares this issue, okay, but that does not make the case against having a public welfare scheme. For example, the cost associated with doing the election procedure is not a reason against holding the election at all or not, right? It's like that, it's an analogy. But this debate kind of reminds me, the same kinds of debate happened for the 100-day work scheme, the NREGA scheme, and the same kind of points were put that who will pay for this, etc. And when the BJP had said who will pay for this, it's a scheme they have basically kept ongoing, because it is a
Very
scheme
good
that
point
benefits
made
the
by
poor,
Garga Chatterjee.
and what the UPA did,
Very,
BJP could not dare put out.
very fundamental point made by Mr. Garga Chatterjee, and Gaurav Bhatia respond to that. Respond to that. आपने promise किया 15 लाख आए नहीं, और वो कह रहे हैं कि मनरेगा के समय आपने यही सवाल किए थे, और फिर मनरेगा आपकी सबसे लोकप्रिय और सबसे ज्यादा प्रिय स्कीम हो गई.
मैं आपको बताता हूँ what is it, one by one. I'll try to address her question best to my ability. First of all, when you say 15 लाख दिए नहीं, आपने खुद कहा 15 लाख किसी नागरिक के अकाउंट में जाएंगे, ये वादा नहीं था. वादा ये था कि ईमानदारी से जो जनता का रुपया है जनता के हित के लिए जाएगा. And I must tell you what is the difference. Manrega, during their time, there were a lot of leakages, there was corruption, and even the Supreme Court, not in the Manrega scheme only, even in the National Rural Health Mission, had observed that there is corruption. What we have done through direct benefit transfer, which they criticize, 1,10,000 crores have been saved because the beneficiary is utilizing every penny coming from the government. Second, it's a question of credibility. They promise but they don't deliver. Modi ji, if he makes a promise, he delivers. And we have delivered on the promise of Congress. No, Navika, I only need 1 minute and then Dushyant can come in. I will give you a few examples, please. If they really wanted to implement the minimum income guarantee scheme, there are state governments. In Punjab, they have been in power for 3 years. The state government is also well equipped to implement. They did not. In Karnataka, they promised a farmer loan waiver. Rather, they got warrants. And most importantly, let me tell you, for the poor, they said reservation will be given to the poorest in the general category.
Garga is raising a question before I go to Dushyant Nagar.
We implemented that. GST, we implemented.
Sir,
Ayushman
आपकी सारी schemes के audits होने अभी बाकी हैं. So let's not jump the gun. Let's not jump the gun.
नाविका जी, कौन सी
गन? आपकी स्कीम्स के भी ऑडिट, आपकी स्कीम्स के भी ऑडिट होंगे. जब ऑडिट की रिपोर्ट आएगी तो हम हमें चलेगा लीकेज हुई कि नहीं.
जब उनकी स्कीम चल रही थी, उसमें जो है सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑब्जर्वेशंस आ गए थे कि करप्शन है. हमारी 5 साल की सरकार में कोई उंगली नहीं उठा सकता, और इसीलिए मैंने आपको डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर का एग्जांपल दिया.
गार्गा चैटर्जी.
So a point was made about why do the state governments, in this case the Congress-led state governments, do not do this. Okay, let me give you the example of West Bengal. When in West Bengal all parties, Congress, Trinamool, CPM, everyone across the board supported an increase of the state share of devolution of taxes from 42% to 50%. So the states have more
What
money
was
for
it
its
earlier?
schemes. Only the BJP in the West Bengal State Assembly opposed it. Only the BJP opposed it. So the BJP does not want states to have money in the first place. Okay. So this is truth by half. Having said that, let us also remind us, just a few years ago in Patna, Narendra Modi was saying 50,000 crores, 60,000 crores, 80,000 crores, 1 lakh crores. Did anybody ask where is that money going to come from? And the money was not delivered. Did anybody ask?
Can I respond
Everybody
to
was
it?
clapping.
1 minute. Dushyant
I think
Nagar also
Gaurav
has a
Bhatia, if
point.
he was not in Samajwadi Party, must have been clapping.
क्या झूठ बोला?
झूठ इन्होंने ये बोला कि 15 लाख रुपए खाते में ट्रांसफर करने के लिए नहीं बोला था। प्रधानमंत्री का वीडियो है, आप चला लीजिए।
आप चला दीजिए, मैं चैलेंज करता हूँ,
सबके खाते में यूं ही मुफ्त में
चैलेंज करता हूँ।
वो एक्सप्रेशन भी दे रहा हूं मैं तो।
अरे आप एक्सप्रेशन वो दे नहीं पाएंगे क्योंकि ईमानदारी नहीं है, सच्चाई होनी
पता
चाहिए।
चलेगा
राहुल गांधी क्यों नहीं कुछ कर पाते?
कौन कितना ईमानदार है, कैसे
सारी भ्रष्टाचार राहुल गांधी, सोनिया गांधी, गांधी परिवार में। खैर आज चर्चा से डिविएट नहीं करेंगे, मेरा फोकस चर्चा पे रहेगा। और अभी मैं आपको ऐसा एम्बैरेस करूंगा कि आपके पार कर जाएंगे।
आप तथ्यों पे बताइए ना कि ये बेसिक इनकम की
बता दिया मैंने।
फंड आएंगे कहां से? आइडेंटिफिकेशन होगी कैसे कि किसी को भी दे दिया जाएगा?
उन्हें बता दूंगा आपको। पहले तो बता देता हूं स्रोत क्या होगा, पैसा कहां से आएगा। जो उद्योगपतियों का कर्जा माफ,
वो तो आप बता चुके हैं।
वो कर्जा माफ उद्योगपतियों का नहीं होगा, गरीबों की जेब में जाएगा।
ये क्या ये
दूसरा क्या होगा, जो इन्होंने लगातार टैक्स कम किया है, उद्योगपतियों को फायदा
किसका
पहुंचा
टैक्स
है।
कम किया है?
मध्य वर्ग के उद्योगपतियों
का मिडिल क्लास का टैक्स दे रहा है। कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स 35% पे किसका टैक्स कम हुआ है? लेट मी गेट इन मिस्टर सुदर्शन, मिस्टर सुदर्शन, where has the tax been reduced? Where have the industrialists been bailed out? Is this a charge that is being made because now the Congress party is not able to justify where is the pool this money is going to come up while keeping the fiscal deficit at 3.6% of the GDP?
Absolutely, Navika. Even at the conclusion of the press conference, Mr. Gandhi left a lot of questions unanswered. Now, I want to correct. He first said we have delivered NREGA. NREGA was a muster roll scheme before the present NDA government came to power. They introduced asset creation as an integral component of NREGA, which transformed that scheme, and that's why I'm answering Mr. Chatterjee that scheme was retained by this government. Mr. Sanjeev Srivastav said it makes a strong case
Narendra
for the
Modi
poor
said
to be
we will
considered.
retain
After
it as an
7 decades,
example
we are
of
considering the poor
Congress's
for a strong
folly.
case.
Narendra Modi on record has said that we will retain it as an example of UP's
Third, you are
folly.
speaking about
He was
2
very
to
clear.
3%
He's on
of the
record.
budget.
Please
So
do
what
not
are you going to cut?
contradict Mr.
Defense?
Narendra Modi.
You said you don't
Please
have
do not
funds to
contradict
implement
Mr.
1 rank,
Narendra
1
Modi because
pension.
it suits
For
you
this
right
you have
now.
feasibility?
He had said
There are a
that
lot of
we will
questions
retain
answered. I am
NREGA
all
as an
for
example of UP's
DBT
folly.
removing
Don't
poverty.
do
But
you think
this
Narendra Modi
haphazard
was
way
lying?
to announce
Please tell
when
me
the
that Narendra Modi was
model
lying in
code
that
of
case.
conduct is in
Tell me.
place. Is
Tell me Narendra Modi
the
was
way
lying.
I look at this, the way I look at this, I am getting in Sanjeev and Gaurav Bhatia on this. Sanjeev, has the election season just got more interesting with this scheme announcement?
See, because Sudarshan took my name, I would like, and Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal went away with a wrong impression. I am completely right wing as far as economy goes, or centrist. So I completely subscribe to the view that this fiscal discipline thing and there are better way of helping the poor. But that is my economic leaning, if you may. But what is the big political issue? The political issue is that the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi, since kingdom come, they believe that they are a party which is skewed towards the poor, and poor vote for them, and Manrega helped them win 2009. Whereas I actually believe it was the good economic policies of Manmohan Singh and a fairly good sense of economic well-being which brought them back in 2009, not Manrega or the poor, because they won so many urban seats, not so many rural seats. So that's point number one. But two is, politically Rahul Gandhi has the BJP on some kind of an embarrassing position or on the mat, because his constant refrain is to position Mr. Modi and BJP as a suit boot ki sarkar versus Congress party and Rahul Gandhi being for the poor person. So that's a political
Gaurav
gambit,
Bhatia,
and I have never
Gaurav
seen
Bhatia,
such close
has
scrutiny
Rahul
of an
Gandhi-
announcement.
Has Rahul Gandhi's scheme taken the wind out of your sails?
See, I'll tell you, had the Congress enjoyed the credibility of delivering on their promise, this scheme, at least for rhetoric purposes, in election would have made a difference. But as an example, I tell you, sir, this is a letter of Sonia Gandhi ji, 29th March 2005. And do you know what she writes? She says every household in India would have electricity by 2009. Do you know that even till 2014, this promise was not fulfilled? And this, sir, let me complete.
Meant 2019 actually. That's what.
Sir, let me complete. No issue. Whatever she meant, maybe you know better than me. But as a layman, as a citizen of the country, I have the right to just bring out the right facts with some proof. Please, one by one. We don't want this.
I'm running out of time on this debate.
Navika, just to complete my point. So the point is very simple. I have the manifestos of the Congress also. Be it, the Ayushman Yojana, GST, reservation for the economically weaker class in the general category, they promised, we delivered. So that is why people of the country don't trust them. And especially before the election, they have two traits. One, they become Chunavi Hindus, and second, they start promising the vote when they don't even know how to deliver on those promises.
घर में दे दिया. अरे कितने गाँव में बिजली दी?
अरे ये सोनिया गांधी भैया.
अरे तुम
basic income scheme.
ये कलावती वाला है, ये मैं नहीं पढ़ना चाहता था. राहुल गांधी घर गए थे, उनके यहाँ खुशी हो रही थी उनकी बेटी की. ये कलावती का नरेंद्र मोदी जी had to step in to ensure that they can live with a life of dignity.
गरीबी रेखा से ऊपर लेके आए.
जॉब एक गलती मैं मानूंगा, 50 साल का एक बालक है जिसको जॉब हम नहीं दे पाए.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the volume of the debate, political debate that you're hearing tonight, you know that there is a new zing in the debate this political season.
Navika, the manner
this election season.
The manner in which Rahul Gandhi's announcement is being scrutinized by the BJP itself shows that there is an element of nervousness.
If you think that is the point of discussion, then sir,
where are the details? What's the devil in the details? Where are the numbers coming from? But the question will always haunt the BJP. If they are only giving 6,000 rupees a year to poor farmers, has Rahul Gandhi bettered this by giving 72,000 rupees per year to a poor family? That will be the question that will chase every single rally this political season. Who has the answers and which side will the people of India believe in? Because it's always said, ये जो public है, ये सब जानती है. Thank you very much for joining me on debate number 1. Going across to debate number 2. It's a massive setback for the Congress party in what is considered its own stronghold, its own backyard. One of the longest serving loyalists of the party, the same man who proposed the name of Rajiv and Sonia from Amethi, has today dumped the Congress party and decided to fight it alone as an independent candidate against Rahul Gandhi. Listen in to the growing resentment against the Congress in Amethi. This coming from Haji Haroon, the ultimate insider of Amethi for the Gandhi family.
क्या मतलब है कि खाली हमारा वोट चाहिए बीजेपी को डरा के और इससे मिला डरा के? अरे आप विकास करो.
ये नहीं चाहते हैं कि यहाँ का मुस्लिम मजबूत हो, इसलिए कि इनकी आबादी ज़्यादा है. अगर ये मजबूत होंगे तो भविष्य में आने वाले दिनों में उनको खतरा हो सकता है कि यहाँ का मुस्लिम एमपी बन सकता है.
75 साल कांग्रेस की सरकार नहीं थी तो अब का दी है.
Well, breaking news coming in at this moment. Times Now gets you the inside scoop on why the Congress party is jittery in Amethi. Top sources have told your channel that the 2.5 lakh Muslims in Amethi, 70% of those are supporters of the Congress loyalist Haji Haroon Rashid. Moreover, the internal Congress survey that has been carried out just 5 days ago shows the internal margin of victory and loss at only about 20 to 25,000 votes between Rahul Gandhi and his nearest contender Smriti Irani, union minister in the BJP. 25,000 votes when campaigning has still not begun in Amethi. Is that why Rahul Gandhi is getting nervous? Is that why his supporters in Amethi are actually advising him to have an option of a second seat? That's the big question, and that's the Amethi George Kong debate that's coming up. A versus between Gaurav Bhatia and Dushyant Nagar.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Well, आप आज हॉट सीट पे हैं और ये हमारी इलेक्शन हॉट सीट है। इलेक्शन हॉट सीट पर आपसे पूछ रहे हैं दुष्यंत नागर जी कि क्यों घबरा रहे हैं राहुल गांधी? ये इंटरनल सर्वे है, ये हाजी हारून राशिद साहब की आपने सुन ली बात। ये तो लॉयलिस्ट है गांधी फैमिली।
हर व्यक्ति को अपनी बात कहने का अधिकार है, कोई भी व्यक्ति अपना निर्णय कर सकता है। जिस व्यक्ति के बारे में आपने कहा वो कांग्रेस में कभी सांसद, विधायक, कोई अध्यक्ष रहे नहीं, एक समर्थक थे। समर्थक को नहीं जाना चाहिए लेकिन चले गए, बहुत अच्छी बात है, अपना रास्ता उन्होंने चुना। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रदेश अध्यक्ष
पर आप मानते तो हैं ये समर्थक थे। वी हैव पिक्चर्स आल्सो।
आपकी बात पर यकीन किया है मैंने तो।
राशिद जी की एक पिक्चर भी हम आपको दिखाएंगे, वो देखिए, वो पिक्चर्स हैं सोनिया गांधी और राहुल गांधी के साथ
के लिए धन्यवाद
नॉमिनेशन फाइल करते हुए।
अमृता पांडे, महेंद्रनाथ पांडे जी की पुत्रवधू, सावित्रीबाई फुले इनकी सांसद, अरविंद कुमार सिंह इनके संभावित प्रत्याशी, और शत्रुघ्न सिन्हा साहब, कितने नाम गिनाऊं जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी को छोड़ के कांग्रेस में आ गए और अपना भविष्य कांग्रेस पार्टी में देख रहे हैं।
तो राहुल गांधी दूसरी सीट क्यों ढूंढ रहे हैं?
मैडम, पूरी बात सुन लीजिए। और पिछले चुनाव में बीएसपी का भी कैंडिडेट था, आम आदमी पार्टी का भी वहां बड़ा कैंडिडेट था, मोदी वेव्स भी थी जिसको बोल रहे थे देश में मोदी लहर चल रही है, तब वो इतना बड़े अंतर से जीते हैं। तो आज कांग्रेस पार्टी को, कांग्रेस पार्टी के समर्थकों को कोई चिंता नहीं है। 3 लाख प्लस वोटों से कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष अमेठी से जीतने वाले हैं। आपके चैनल पे घोषणा कर रहा हूं 23 मई को यहीं मिलूंगा।
गौरव भाटिया।
See, first of all, I do not want to get into, who's joining which party, because we all know how Gujarat Congress MLAs joined our party. Son of the leader of opposition from Maharashtra joined our party. But the real question that you have asked is, Smriti Irani ji, एक मिनट, Smriti Irani ji, for a citizen of the country, epitomizes hard work, merit. And that is why she is
हारी तो वो पिछली बार भी थी।
मैं अभी बात पूरी कर लूं।
उससे पहले भी हारी थी चांदनी चौक से।
राहुल गांधी is all about dynastic rule, incompetence, insincerity. People,
ये तो आपने पिछली बार भी कहा।
अभी मैं आपको 2-3 चीजें बताता हूं कि what we have delivered in 5 years,
नहीं,
what they couldn't do in 15 years. Why, Navika? In Amethi, the voters of Amethi had posters in their hand saying MP wanted.
कोच फैक्ट्री को आपने बंद करा दिया।
ऐसे नहीं चलेगा।
अच्छा नहीं लगेगा। चला जाता हूँ।
अच्छा,
आप आराम से बैठ के भैया 10-15 मिनट भाषण दे लीजिए।
मेरे को अपना पॉइंट रखने दीजिए, इसमें कोई बुराई नहीं है।
जगदीशपुर में हरसिमरत कौर माननीय मंत्री महोदय ने वो बंद करा दिया, जिसमें हजारों लोगों को नौकरी
हो गया। आप सुनिए,
हो गया नहीं है।
आपको मैं बता दूं, देखिए,
तो
मैं बता
नहीं,
तो इसलिए राहुल गांधी दूसरी सीट ढूंढ रहे हैं क्योंकि वो मेगा फूड पार्क बंद हो गया।
प्रधानमंत्री हैं, 2 जगह से लड़ेंगे, बुराई क्या है? मोदी जी
2 जगह से लड़ेंगे, बुराई क्या है?
बुराई क्या है? नरेंद्र मोदी लड़े, गुजरात से लड़े, उत्तर प्रदेश से लड़े। अरे भैया क्या हो गया?
गांधी इज अवेयर that because
गरीबों का, किसानों का, गरीबों का, किसानों का, पिछड़ों का, दलितों का, युवाओं का, नेता अगर 2 जगह से लड़ेगा तो आपको दर्द क्या है?
So he is running to the second
कुछ
seat.
लोगों को दर्द है।
Let me say
क्यों
this with some
भैया?
responsibility.
क्या अमीरों का नेता ही 2 जगह से लड़ सकता है? क्या उद्योगपतियों का नेता ही 2 जगह से लड़ सकता है?
As the chief
क्या
minister,
15 बड़े उद्योगपतियों का मित्र 2 जगह से लड़ सकता है?
has been in constant touch with the people of Amethi.
ये देखिए मार्जिन, 1,07,000 वोट का मार्जिन था 2014 में राहुल गांधी और स्मृति ईरानी अब रह गया है मात्र 25,000।
दिखाया राहुल गांधी के लॉयलिस्ट छोड़ के जा रहे हैं, बताइए क्यों जा रहे हैं?
आप गौरव भाटिया, गौरव भाटिया, आप ये बताएं क्या ये चर्चा
तो नहीं कहेंगे, मनोहर जोशी का भी पता नहीं।
अच्छा, मैं 1 मिनट पूछ लूं। गौरव भाटिया, आपके यहाँ भी तो चर्चा है कि प्रधानमंत्री वाराणसी के अलावा एक साउथ की सीट से भी लड़ेंगे।
देखिए नाविका जी, एक बात समझ लीजिए, जब ये बात स्पष्ट हो जाए, कांग्रेस ने तो अनाउंसमेंट कर
स्पष्ट अभी भी
अमेठी से नहीं, आप ये बताइए तो ठीक है, अगर मान लीजिए एक दूसरी सीट से लड़ रहे हैं, ये स्पष्ट है, और अमेठी अगर छोड़ते हैं तो ये मैसेज है कि डर गए हैं। अब स्पष्ट करे ना करे, नरेंद्र मोदी जी के लिए हमने घोषणा कर दी है, वो लड़ रहे हैं वाराणसी से, ये भी क्लियर है। और नरेंद्र मोदी जी तो शेर की तरह जहां से लड़ेंगे वहां से केवल अपनी सीट नहीं जीतेंगे, पूरे प्रदेश और उस क्षेत्र का पूरा बदल देंगे। वहां पे
कहानियां सुनाने में ऐसे नहीं थे।
देखिए,
समाजवादी पार्टी में तो आप सत्य बोलते थे,
वेरी लिटिल क्रेडिबिलिटी।
अभी पता नहीं है क्या आधा सत्य नहीं बोलते।
He said there will be 40 food processing units in the constituency. Never happened. He said there would be a paper mill with employed 10,000 youths. Never happened.
ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्री लगी नहीं, सैकड़ों किलोमीटर की सड़कें बनी नहीं, इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज बने नहीं, राजीव गांधी इंफॉर्मेशन एंड टेक्नोलॉजी इंस्टीट्यूट 2005 में उद्घाटन हुआ, नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ होटल मैनेजमेंट जगदीशपुर में, राजीव गांधी इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ पेट्रोलियम टेक्नोलॉजी।
अरे भैया, अमेठी होके आइए, हम जाते हैं, आप नहीं गए। राहुल गांधी की तरह
भारत का भ्रमण कर चुके हैं, आसमानी नहीं है, जमीनी है हम। आप तो हाईवे से हाईवे में चढ़े, 104 अपने घर पहुंच गए, हाईवे से यहाँ 16 आ गए, आप तो जाते नहीं है।
और रायबरेली में
अरे सर, चोरी आपने की, गरीबों का पैसा चोरी किया।
Ladies and gentlemen, that picture,
पैसा चोरी किया।
दुष्यंत नागर जी, वो तस्वीर देख लीजिए। ये तस्वीर है
जी
हारून राशिद भाई
इतने
की,
क्लोज थे और कैसे
जो
दूरियां
राहुल
आ गई।
गांधी के साथ अकेले उनके घर पर
गरीब
तुगलक लेन में खड़े
किसान
हैं।
युवा को हमेशा कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष करीब रखते हैं,
लेकिन वो
नरेंद्र
छोड़
मोदी
कर
जी की
क्यों
तरह
जा
नहीं
रहे
करते कि
नहीं,
जो
तो वो
कैमरे
छोड़
के
कर
सामने
क्यों
आ
जा
गया,
रहे
समझ ही नहीं आया,
एक
बात
दो
ही नहीं
कैमरे के
समझ
सामने आ गया, उसको हटो।
Well, ladies and
मोदी जी के
gentlemen,
सामने होता है, करीब होता है सिर्फ कैमरा।
on the hot seat today, it's evident that if these numbers are to be believed, 2.5 lakh Muslim votes in Amethi, of which 70% really have an influence of the Haroon Rashid family. Is that why Rahul Gandhi is calculating yet again on whether he needs another safe seat? That's the question, and that's the big exclusive story here on Times Now, because we're looking at everything that's happening this poll season, which way the wind is blowing.